Hello everyone, welcome back to Chibi and Chill, the anime podcast, and Happy New Year! If you're like me, or like the rest of the UK or the world right now, you've probably been watching Squid Games on Netflix, the second season. So, season 2 is finally here, and if you're also like me, you've probably finished season 2 already. And we already know there's a season 3 coming soon. We haven't got a launch date for it just yet, but it has been confirmed. It was confirmed on the very last episode. I'm excited. I can't wait. The very last clip with the spoiler alert with the two dolls. Oh, I am so hyped to find out what happens next. And I'm a little bit upset that it's the last season, I have to say. It's been a great ride. But either way, finishing season 2 did make me kind of think of what am I going to watch next that's remotely similar to Squid Games to kind of keep the vibe going, because 7 episodes is not a lot, and if you're like me and binge watch them, it's over in like 2 or 3 days. So this video, I kind of really want to go through 5 anime that you should watch if you're a fan of Squid Games and that kind of game of life and death, the money kind of vibe, that kind of idea. 5 anime that you should check out if you're a fan of Squid Games are filled with that kind of money, life and death, psychological thriller, drama, through all that kind of category kind of anime, and some of them are a little bit more adult than others. So do keep that in mind as well. Some of them have a little bit more of a firm language in them. But they are awesome anime, each of their own. Some of them are quite different. One of them is very, very similar to Squid Games in the kind of premise overall, and some of them differ from it slightly, but still have that same kind of idea of a game of life and death. And there's one right at the end, which is my absolute favorite. So do watch right until the end to find out what my top recommendation is. I am literally wanting to finish recording this as soon as I can so I can finish watching that anime ASAP. So without further ado, let's dive into the first recommendation of 5 anime you should watch if you're into Squid Games. Also, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow to make sure you don't miss new weekly content much like this. And find me on social media for more daily content. The time of recording, I'm going live tonight on TikTok, so keep an eye out on TikTok as well. I am doing lives. Here's a little sneak preview of what I'm going to be on. So part of what I'm going to be unboxing on tonight's live. I'm kind of loving doing the TikTok lives with you guys and unboxing some of my own merch that I've kind of either been gifted or purchased on my little travels. So I'm kind of loving doing the unboxing. But without further ado, enough rambling, let's dive into the first recommendation, which is the Tomodachi Game. So the first anime is the Tomodachi Game, and this one is probably one of the closest anime to Squid Games, I would say. It's 12 episodes, so you could easily finish this one in 4 hours or in a day. And this one is a drama and a thriller anime. There's that money vibe, all about the debt, potentially life and death. I'm only like 2 episodes in, so super, super fresh. But I expect it further down. There's no way this doll could be that creepy without it having that kind of vibe. But there's also a psychological event in this one as well. So this one is all about after raising enough money to join his friends on a school trip, Yuichi's money, along with the rest of the classes, is stolen. The Tomodachi Game will test their bonds with betrayal, secrets, and, which means the most to them, money or friendship. This one, straight away from the first episode, it is a awesome anime to look at. It's super, super glorious to look at, and it uses a little bit of CGI, but in a really clever way of using it on this kind of like doll anime kind of character that is kind of, it's super, super creepy, and it makes it kind of unsettling to look at, which works really, really well with the anime. This one is an awesome looking one, but it's most similar with the kind of doll anime character to what we see in season 1 and spoiler alert season 2 of Squid Game. This one is similar to Squid Games in the fact that we have money for winning the games, but in a different kind of sense. So you don't kind of get the piggy bank like you would in Squid Games. You kind of get your debt reduced by the specific rules that you play in the games, and each one has kind of different ones. This one has, from episode 1, it also has a slightly psychological vibe to it as well, which adds another layer, I think, which is really interesting to kind of have in this anime. It's kind of test bonds of friendship. There's trust that very quickly break down when it comes to a very simple child's game, which again is similar to Squid Games. All the games are super simple, childlike games, and much like we see on Squid Games, it also means that they're kind of harder than what they should be. As if you were playing if you're a kid, it becomes much more harder because you kind of overthink it and you feel the pressure more as an adult than you would if you were a kid playing the kids game. This one is a super interesting anime. I'm on episode 2, I believe, at the moment, so I'm super excited to kind of carry on with this one. It's only 12 episodes, so easy to watch and kind of continue with. I'm interested to see how it comes to an end, like how fast do the bonds break down and how quickly does it all kind of fall apart. So from episode 1, it seems like it's going to be very quickly falling apart. But do check this one out. It's Tomodachi Game, and that one's your first recommendation. Hello everyone, I just thought I'd hop in here real quick to tell you all about Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll is the world's largest anime streaming platform with literally thousands of anime for you to explore, including new series such as Demon Slayer, newest One Piece, and more Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, all that good stuff, alongside iconic shows such as Hunter x Hunter, Naruto Shippuden, and a whole host more, alongside some ones that you've never even heard of, but you'll love diving into their worlds and their stories. Fans of the Chippy and Chill anime podcast can take advantage of a 7-day free trial so you can dive into as much anime as you'd like without having to properly finish sign up and pay. Get a 7-day free trial of Crunchyroll down below using the links in my video descriptions and dive into a world of thousands of anime waiting for you to explore. The next one is one of the newest ones on this list, and it came out in 2024 as part of one of the earlier seasons. I think it was the spring season. And this one is Takusetsu, the Game of Life and Death. This one is 24 episodes. This one has a little bit more of a bulkier season to kind of watch through, and this one is again a drama and a thriller kind of anime. This one is a little bit different though. This one is what if your life hung in the balance of a twisted game? A self-proclaimed emperor has gathered 5 young people through anonymous messages and asks, do you want to live? But the games have only one rule: the majority dies. Tsunetsu and Sonya, among with the 5 trapped individuals, unite to defeat the Emperor and end the games once and for all. This one, I'm 2 episodes into this one, and this is one of the ones I really want to kind of watch week by week as the season came out, but I did not keep up with that for whatever reason. But this one, I think, took me a little bit to understand that the majority dies. It's quite the opposite in a lot of games where the majority win. This one is the opposite. The majority die, and it's only a simple yes or no questions that kind of get asked. This one uses a little bit more of a technological kind of focus, and it's slightly bizarre in kind of how it happens. It's almost like a timer goes off that once you cast your vote or answered the question, if you're in the majority, you die, and if not, you survive until the next question. I think it's super interesting. There's a lot going on behind the scenes with this one, and this is one that I'm really wanting to dive back into. I don't know why I stopped. I think I continued with One Piece and I forgot to continue this one on. But I'm interested. I want to know more about this Emperor. Why has he kind of started this game, and how is it kind of even taking place in the first place? How are people dying from a majority vote? I think that's interesting. I want to know how that's kind of taking place. But Takusetsu, the Game of Life and Death, is definitely one to check out if you want more of a almost like a mystery vibe mixed with Squid Games. The next one on this list, anime number 3, is Assassination Classroom. Now, this one is a little bit more of a sci-fi vibe, so if you want more of an action, comedy, drama, and a sci-fi take with this Squid Game kind of idea, do check this one out. This one's a little bit more bulky, though. This is the biggest one on this list, with 2 seasons, which is around 22 to 25 episodes each. And this one is forget about homework and pop quizzes. The students of Class 3E have a far more important assignment, which is kill their teacher before the end of the year. A tentacled sensei that moves at Mach 20 is out to conquer the classroom after destroying the 70% of the moon. In addition to writing, reading, and arithmetic, the murderous monster behind the lectern will teach his students everything he knows about the assassination game. Should some eager beaver prove to be a quick study in killing, he or she will save Earth from the extinction and collect a hefty reward, which kind of comes from like the Japanese government or the world government at this point. This is one of my favorite ones for a long while, and I'm still shocked we haven't had more from it. I can't remember, if I'm honest, from season 2 if anything kind of ended. I don't think it did, but I really want another season of this. It's a super fun anime, and it really pokes fun at itself. The sensei, the teacher, is so fun and so funny, and it kind of pokes fun at some other anime as well, which is great. I believe some Naruto references in there, which is honestly awesome. I kind of love it when they reference each other. This one is great to kind of include if you're wanting more of that sci-fi vibe. There's that kind of idea of a daily game of trying to kill the teacher and how he kind of survives and teaches them along the way, which is super, super fun. It's not particularly got that kind of game vibe so much as Squid Games, but definitely got that kind of survival instinct and that kind of survival game rather than killing game as well. So do check that out. It's Assassination Classroom, the biggest one on this list, and probably one of the most popular and well known on this list. The next one was actually new to me. I've not actually heard of this one before researching this podcast episode, and it is Deadman Wonderland. This one is 12 episodes long, but it's got one OVA as well. So this one you could easily, again, watch in a day at around just over 4 hours. This one is action, drama, thriller, but it's also got a supernatural aspect to it as well. This one is Ganta is convicted of a crime he didn't commit. He's locked up in Deadman Wonderland, where prisoners are forced to fight gladiatorial battles for tourists. This one has, if you remember back in season 1 of Squid Games, we kind of saw the masked like millionaires and billionaires that kind of watch the Squid Games for fun, for kind of like tourist pleasure, I guess. This one has that kind of vibe, but it's more with convicts instead of just people trying to earn money from debt. This one has that exact kind of vibe. This one is super gory. It's got quite a bit of language in there, this one, so do keep that in mind. But this one was awesome. There's action in the very first couple of minutes, and it's a little bit more gory, but honestly, that got me super tied into it, which I don't know what that says about me, but that got me super hooked on it. I kind of needed to know what was going on, and I want to know more about spoiler alert in this one. So there is the crystal in Ganta's chest, and I want to know why he got that, and we get a little peek of the power of that in episode 1, and I want to know what else can that do and why does he even have it in the first place if he was meant to be murdered with everyone else, or maybe was he not meant to at all? Does he have like a bigger purpose? Who knows? I guess we'll find out in the 12 episodes. But a super super interesting premise, and I'm itching to find out more about Deadman Wonderland. In the show, it kind of tells us that the red hole, which is like a sinkhole, like completely devoured or kind of absorbed modern day Tokyo as we know it, and what they put into place in that hole. I guess they filled it up with where Tokyo was and put Deadman's Wonderland there instead. And I think that shows the kind of mental state, I guess, of the world that they live in. And I'm interested to kind of see what else takes place in the Wonderland. It looks a little bit kind of carnival esque, like theme park esque, and I kind of want to know what happens. Does more like what, how? There's so many questions about this Wonderland, and I'm itching to find out more. I'm on episode what I've watched episode 1, and I need to carry on this anime. This is one of my top ones for this episode and top recommendations for if you like Squid Game. So do check this out if you want more of a carnival kind of theme parky version of Squid Games. So it's finally time. My favorite anime on this list and my top recommendation for this list. I am itching to finish this recording and get back to watching this anime, and it is Darwin's Game. This one is super similar to Squid Games in the fact that there's a major life and death version of like an online game going on. This one is 11 episodes, so super short. Again, you could watch this in a day. This one is a shonen thriller, but also, again, a slight supernatural aspect to it as well. This one is all about Kaname, an ordinary high school student who receives an invitation email to a mysterious app called Darwin's Game. So Kaname, upon launching the app, is drawn into a game where players fight one another using supernatural powers called sigils, but then they kind of also use kind of more traditional aspects such as like knives, guns, that kind of thing. It's kind of like a pairing. But without knowing the reason for all of this, can Kaname survive furious battles against the powerful players who attack him? So essentially, you kind of get pulled into this kind of all-out game where players will try and battle you, steal your points, that kind of thing, and essentially you die if you don't beat the person or run out the clock. It's super intense, and the first episode is actually 47 minutes long. So you get like a super double feature episode, a little bit like what Demon Slayer often do, where we kind of get a double feature of a real introduction into that season or this world. It's super intense, and this one, I have to say, is absolutely gorgeous to look at from an anime perspective. It is super cinematic, and it's done really, really well. The first episode absolutely hooks you in from the first couple of minutes, and it's an amazing full first episode. I am wanting to find out more about the game. The girl that he meets on later on in episode one kind of tells him a little bit more about the game, but she raises more questions at the same time. So I'm itching to get those answered and find out more about how Kaname can kind of beat the game and kind of cheat the system a little bit. She kind of tells us that there's no way to end the game or kind of come out of the game. So someone somewhere must know how to kind of fully survive, or are you in it for life? Is that kind of it? But I guess we'll find those out. We'll get the questions answered, I guess. But this one is one of my favorite ones on this list. It's awesome to look at, and one of the ones where I kind of like the idea that they've included like this app idea. We're on our phones all the time, and I find it interesting when anime really play on that and kind of use that to its advantage for the storyline, and kind of brings us a bit closer to our everyday of using these apps. It is super interesting. I cannot wait to carry on this one. There's 11 episodes. I'm on episode 1. I'm on episode, well, I need to start episode 2. So definitely check out Darwin's Game. This is my top recommendation for this list of 5 anime to watch if you like Squid Games. So Squid Game Season 3 will be coming soon later this year, but that's 5 anime you can watch in the meantime. Yes, some of them you can finish in a day, but so if you do finish these really quickly, which I feel like I might do some of these if I'm honest, because of how good some of these are, I think I'll need more, so I might have to do another list depending on this one. But do check out those anime. If you've already watched these anime, do let me know what you thought of them, or if there are ones that are similar that you'd also recommend. Do leave a comment on the video or in your podcast review if listening to the audio only version. Do let me know what your thoughts are of the recommendations. What would you also recommend if you're for other people that are fan of Squid Games? Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff to make sure you don't miss new weekly episodes. They release every single Friday, so do check those out. And find me on TikTok, Instagram, all that good stuff for the lives that I'd mentioned, the other daily kind of anime content that I'm releasing as well. There's loads more to discover from Chibi Weeb Anime, so do check those out. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your week, whatever anime you'll be watching. Maybe it's one of these to kind of get your Squid Game like anime fill for the week. Let me know what you guys thought of all these. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you. Bye bye, guys.